Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the RoundTable. I am your host, Sandra B. And as y'all can see, I'm not home in my normal space. I am on the road heading out of town, but because my guest was dedicated to showing up today and I was still wanting to go on with the show, I said we can do it from the phone. So here I am, and here's my lovely guest, Miss Mertha Dubois. Brother, you
Yes,
tell the people who you are and what you do, love, and how you add value to the
absolutely.
world.
Well, hello everyone. It is
Yes.
great to be here on this platform. Thank you for joining in. And of course, Miss Sandra B. I so appreciate this platform sharing that you allowed me to share with the women out there who are here. But a little bit about me. My name is Myrtle Dubois. I am a life and wealth strategist, and I have years of experience, in corporate America. So tonight we're gonna talk a little bit about corporate America, but I also have experience with just women overall. And so how I show up in the world and what I spread is information, number one, education, number two, and a means to an end, meaning that I fuel growth and, oh, my phone is ringing. Let me put it on silence. Excuse me more. I fuel growth in women because we need it. We need it. So I want women to take
Yes.
purposeful action. I want women to gain clarity. That's where the education comes on, because we don't know what we don't know. And a lot of times what we think we know is only harming us and not really helping us. So I really focus on three main pillars, and that is clarity, purpose, and of course, building a secure future. And that means holistic, from the head all the way down to your toes.
Yes, because it all matters, right?
It all matters, and
Yes,
we're
I
gonna
love
learn.
it.
Yep, and we're definitely gonna learn that tonight, how it matters. Because Sandra, this title is powerful. But
Wow.
let me calm down. Let me calm down.
No, let's keep that energy up. But tonight, because as y'all may or may not know, this month is National Mental Health Awareness
Yeah, it
Month.
is.
Okay, and I don't believe that there is enough emphasis, enough awareness on mental health. Especially in the Black community.
Yes.
So tonight we're going to be talking about mentally exhausted, emotionally ignored, the unspoken crisis in women's empowerment. Okay. And Martha is more than qualified, to be giving advice and talking about this topic tonight, which is why I invited her. So we're going to get right into it, guys. And be patient with me because I am on my phone. So if you're commenting, hey, Tish, hey, Erica, and if I don't respond immediately, just give me some time. All
Yes.
right. And if y'all have questions, post them in the chat. I'll see them and we'll answer them live. Okay, so first question is, why do you think so many women who appear strong are silently struggling with emotional exhaustion?
One word: empowerment. We love when people tell us good words. And empower is not really a bad word, it's a great word. But what it says is show up and cover everything else. Show up, but cover everything else. And I'm going to give you some statistics tonight. And by the way, I'm wearing green. Green is for mental health awareness. Look,
Yes.
even my makeup is green. Just wanted to point that out. But
I can
let's go
see it on the
back to
eyes.
so we love to celebrate women, and we should. We should, because they are leading us. We are inspiring people. We are, persevering. We're persistent. But beneath the surface,
Mm,
there's a silent cry, women. There is a silent cry, and we are struggling. I want to read this statistic to you because I want to get it right.
Okay.
75% of women report experiencing burnout. 75% compared to 58% of men. And that was just
Wow.
2023. So it's not just about the
It's
workplace.
probably, I'm sure
It's
it's increased since then.
one more time, Sandra. You broke up a little bit. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So
I think I went through
you're
a little
fine.
spot, but we should be good now.
You see, we keep mistaking empowerment. That word is good. But I'm going to caution each and every one of you who are here today at the sound of my voice, going forward, when we hear these good words, let's take pause and let's examine truly what that word means to us, physically, mentally, emotionally, as well as in our business. You see, empowerment is a great word, but it tells us to cover everything else up, right? So empowerment is about endurance, show strength. Oh, we're strong, especially Black women. Oh, that is like, honey, you are a strong Black woman. But guess what happens when we hear that? If we feel some type of weakness, or if we feel that our strength is being reduced, we kind of shake it off. No, 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 no. I'm strong. I'm a strong Black woman. I need to show up as such.
Mm,
Meanwhile, we are dying on the inside. We are unraveling on the inside. And unraveling could mean a number of things. Okay. So unraveling on the inside, pretty much, I have a friend who was diagnosed. She went to the doctors and she was diagnosed as being a functional depression. Functional, just think
mm,
about that for a moment. She's functioning because she has to, but she's depressed. And the thing is,
right,
nobody sees it because we're looking at this strong Black woman. And that is, that physical side, that spiritual side is dying as well. Mentally, we get
right,
foggy, we forget. Our memory is not as sharp as it used to be. Our mind is racing,
right,
but guess what? The rest of us, the emotional part, the spiritual part, the physical part, is not moving at the same pace as the mind is, because our mind has to be sharp. We have to be able to answer the questions. We have to be able to send a rebuttal. We have to be able to speak on that subject quickly, quickly, quickly. Yet the rest of us, our, our physical part, our emotional part, our spiritual part, takes a pause. It takes a moment to jump in. And
right.
emotionally, we suppress as well because we don't want people to say, oh, you know what, she's just so dramatic, or she's just too much, you know? Yet we carry everyone else's stuff,
Yeah,
right? And you know
right.
why we do that most times? Because we don't want people to see
Uh,
our stuff being
Yeah,
unraveled on the inside.
right. Are you able to see these questions? Because you is like going right through them in your in your dialogue. And I'm like, can she see these questions?
And I see one question that says, why do you think so many people who appear strong are
Yeah.
silently struggling? That's the only
But
question I see.
you done touched on the next two questions in order, right? Because let me tell you, the next question was, in your experience, how women are told about what it means to be empowered. You already explained that. After that, you got into suppression, and so we can elaborate more on this. How does emotional suppression show up in women's personal development journeys?
Oh, if they're lucky, if these women are lucky, they will have partnered up to focus on their personal development side.
Mm,
And when I say personal development, for those of you who know me, it's always holistic. It's always going to cover your spiritual side, your area or side, your emotional side, because emotionally we tend to act on a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
or hide the other times what we're feeling. So either we act on,
Right.
oh, this person said something to me, let me respond to them in that way, or we take a look around the room and like, oh, let me hold off and not answer this person right now because I feel some type of way. So we're still working on channeling our emotions. So
Mm-hmm.
is that suppression? Absolutely. Because I believe in showing up in the moment, in doing or saying, behaving in the moment. We got to be present. And that's another thing that we're told, right? Be present. But guess what? Sometimes we feel some type of way to act in the moment because, again, we're going to be labeled as something other than an empowered woman or something other than a strong woman. So we
Mm-hmm.
hide our emotion, and that does affect our personal development journey because it's not aligned. See, personal development is supposed to, we're supposed to, I put a post up, I believe it was earlier today, about living it. So we have to live in the moment. And so when we talk about personal development is a journey, but it's also being able and being okay with being present, fully present in the moment. And so when we suppress, we are not living in the moment. Therefore, our personal development is stalled, it's halted, it's paused.
Right. That's so true. And like you said, going back to trying to, well, being afraid or fearful of showing our weakness because we want to be this empowered woman or whatever society has framed to be this empowered woman, we
Hmm.
don't even know what we're signing up for or what we're claiming to be. And we haven't even taken the time to fully empower ourselves.
There you
And
go.
you can't empower someone else when you are not, mentally okay yourself. Um, so that's something, like I said, this is something that I'm always going to always be a advocate of and always try to keep in the forefront because mental health is real and
Mm,
you can never talk too much about it, in my opinion.
never, Sandra. This is such a great thing that you're doing and bringing it out, especially during Mental Health Awareness Month.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Glad you
And
was
the thing,
able to join me.
yes, yes. And the other thing about mental health is, as a women, right? As empowered women, we don't want to look unhealthy.
We don't want to
We
look
don't,
weak,
we don't want to look weak. We don't want to feel. We brush it off. We
right?
brush it off. But sisters, sisterpreneurs out there, I'm here to tell you, stop brushing it off because we need you. We need you in the workplace. We need you in our communities. We need you in our churches. We need you on our street corners, streets. We need you in this world. We need you
Right,
traveling. We need you everywhere, in schools, in the home, even in the
right,
home, especially if you have a spouse or children. Again, we show up and we tend to suppress what we're feeling for the sake of our loved ones. But
right.
stop. And let me share a story with you. And I say that, Sandra, because there was a point in my life years ago that was going. I was, woo, I was moving, shaking, moving and shaking. We all know that, right? I woke up one day and physically, I could not move. Could not move. My body shut down.
Wow.
Listen, stress definitely can appear in physical form. And I'm going to say it again.
Mm,
For those of you who do not
yeah.
want to hear it, I want you to hear it. Stress has a tendency of appearing in a physical form, which means that when you are sick with a headache, it may not be just a headache. If you are sick with a cold, it may not be just a cold. If you are sick with perhaps a tummy ache, body aches, it may not be that. Now, it may not be anything more serious, but your body is looking to tell you to slow down. And so I woke up and my body was
Hmm.
telling me, guess what? You're not going anywhere. It got so bad, Sandra, that
Not today.
my mother was in
Not.
the room crying thinking that I was going to die. My children were
Oh my God.
surrounding my bed thinking that their mom is going to die in that moment.
Wow.
So I've experienced it. I can
Mm,
speak on it because I've experienced it.
right. They say stress is another silent killer, because it shows up in so many different ways. And
Yes.
we, as women, we wear a lot on our shoulders, so we don't know what's stressful until it's past the normal stress point. Because being stressful and chaotic is our normal,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because we wear so many hats and we are so empowered and we can do everything. So when it's we supposed to just take that because that's what comes with the territory. But that's not normal. And that's something that I had to learn, through therapy. Which I don't take it lightly. Like I said, I'm an advocate. I'm a firm believer. I see my therapist every 2 weeks and more if I need to. But I've learned a lot. And like she just said, stress will affect your body physically if you don't feel it mentally. Wow.
Yes. Yes. And especially
What
us
are some
being,
signs? Oh,
no, I was just going to
no, go
add,
ahead.
the women of color, especially, us black women, women of color, um, we have to be very cautious, And I know, again, based off experience, when we're not empowered, when we're not empowered or being empowering, we feel some type of way. We feel unseen. And society does that, adds to that, makes us feel unseen or unheard. Oh, yeah, that one over there. But when we show up and our voice is loud, people pay attention. And so we feel like we have to continue to show up in that manner. But 42% of women in the workplace are not supported by
Mm,
this 42%. So I
right.
need each and every one of you to kind of lean in a little bit and listen to what's being answered here today. Because again, we need you. We need you here on this side of the dirt.
Mm, on this side of the dirt. I know that's right. Oh, wow. Hope y'all listening. Taking notes. I don't know if you're watching live, if you're watching the replay, please. If you watched it live, you might want to replay it. This is good. What are some signs that a woman is pushing through burnout instead of actually healing? What are some things that we
Ooh.
can, kind of look out for in ourselves or even our friends?
Absolutely. And so, we definitely touched on it before, but let me dig a
Hmm.
little bit deeper. Um, let's talk about memories, right? Memory
Okay.
loss. You ever drop a key or picked up your key and now you forget if your key is in your hand or where it is in the house? That fogginess.
Yes.
And we think, oh, it's just old age. And we crack up about it. We tell jokes about it. I'm getting old because I can't remember some things. That's exhaustion. That is exhaustion.
Wow.
Another one, let's say emotionally, right? Emotionally. And some of these symptoms, of course, it's always intertwined with something else. But these are some of
Correct.
the signs that I'd like for us to start paying attention to when you call a girlfriend and say, hey, don't forget we're meeting such and such. Oh, was it today? And
Mm,
mind you, we have a digital calendar, we have a regular calendar, we have a journal, we have a notebook, we have stuff written all over the place because it's so much to remember. It's so easy to remember as well. So much to remember, and it's easy to forget, is what I meant to say. It's easy to forget.
right. Right.
And so we are writing, we're putting little notes here, we're putting it in our digital calendar, we're putting it on a to-do list because it's so much. It gets to be so much. And so when we miss a step, and for example, I remember my son called me one day and he said, "Oh, Mom, where can I find X, Y, and Z?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know." He says, "What?" He said, "You used to be able to say, oh, go in this drawer and it's on this side of the drawer and it's under this package." Like I would be on point. And this was
Right.
10 years ago. So it's not like the age, it was a little bit younger when I was a little bit younger.
Right.
And I had to pause and say, oh my gosh, it's too much. When someone makes you pause and hesitant, take a step back and
Mhm.
start evaluating. Okay, so maybe I need to step back on this, or maybe I need to take a break on that. And if you are a friend, let's check up on each other a little bit more. Let's have more of these check-ins, if you
Right.
will. Hey sis, how you feeling today? What's going on? What's on your plate? Is there anything that I can do to support? See, when we start supporting each other also, we don't like to ask nobody, Miss Sandra, right? We don't like to ask. But if somebody
Don't like to
offers
ask.
us, we don't like to ask. Why? We're strong. We're strong black
Right.
women. We got this. And then, the Christian thing is, oh, God wouldn't give you much if he knew you couldn't handle it. Like,
Yeah.
stop, stop. Okay. So if our sisters are not going to ask, and we know them, let's start offering. Because sooner,
Right.
what's going to happen is we're going to start to ask each other and start relieving that stress, that pressure. Because there's another thing that we don't do. We don't like to talk about the things that we don't want to ask about.
Right.
Right? So, guess what? Now
Right.
that I'm asking you, now you may feel some type of way. You know what? Let me share. Let me share what I'm feeling. Let me talk about this.
Right.
So you opening up a space for your sister. So when you talk about, what some of the signs are, again, it starts with, if they look like they're taking on too much, if they never ask for help, maybe you've known them for five years or more and they've never really asked for any support, start asking them. Start asking them. And then
Right.
also recommending. Oh, sis, you know what? I got this great admin and she does this. She may be able to help you out as well. Oh, sis, I got this individual who is great at such and such a task. Let me introduce you. Maybe they can help you because I know they're helping me. Let's start doing more of that. So that in the space, then we can start to heal. Because once we stay busy, we're not healing because we're not pausing. We're not taking that time, that moment to heal. So if we can kind of remove some of the burden of our sisters, then they can start healing. And the same is going to happen for us. So let's start talking about it more, but offering the support.
Right. And that's what going back to when you was talking about, checking in with our sisters, one thing we always tend to ask is like, well, how you doing? We just ask it. There needs to be another way to ask that question to make them think before they answer because we're so accustomed. I'm fine, I'm good. But you're not. And so there needs to be another way to ask, without just being so, how you doing? Or what's going on? I like to I like to ask my friends like, more like how was your day? I like to do more specific questions, but that's something that we learn in the industry, asking good questions. But definitely checking in because if you ask the right questions to your friends, you might find out y'all struggling with some of the same things.
There you go.
And because y'all both are covering it up, y'all both have ways that y'all are dealing with it. And if you share it with each other, it'll make the load a little bit lighter. But
Absolutely.
you don't know if you don't talk about it, like you said.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
The sadness about the sad news about mental health is that we really don't go deep. Sandra, you are absolutely right, we don't go deep enough.
Mhm.
So the other thing, in asking the questions, let's ask about, what do you have on your plate today, right? Same thing. Or, were you able to do everything? Did you have a good day? Or even, did you rest well? I like to wake
Yeah,
up in the morning. Did you rest well? Because if you didn't
right,
rest well, that also tells me that you're struggling unconsciously with something because you can't get enough sleep or good sleep. So did you rest
right.
well? Start the morning with that mindset. Okay.
Mm,
So what's on your mind? If they say no, my next question is, so what's on your mind? What's on your mind,
right.
sis?
You can't sleep. Something's on your
What
mind.
you got going on? And then remind, a lot of times we gotta remind them, I will hold space for you. I'm meaning that I'm here for you. I'll hold space for you,
Mm,
sis. Don't do it alone. So
right,
encouraging our sisters and our sisterpreneurs, women in business. Let's encourage
right,
them to come talk to us. Interrupt their days sometimes, especially if you're really close. Give them a call out the blue. Hey, what you got going on? What are you doing? Did you eat today? What you eat?
right.
Just to be nosy. What you eat?
Yep.
Encourage. Just do something and share that. And the thing is, we can start building these communities slowly, but we can
Mm,
definitely start to build these communities, because the more we know, right, the more we know, the more we can offer. And I'm the first to tell you, just because you know doesn't mean you're going to do better. But with
that's right.
some process in place, some tools in place, and some support in place, you can definitely do better.
That's right. You can definitely do better. I like the saying do go. When you know better, you do better. But like you said, that's not a guarantee. It's
It's
like a
not.
50-50 chance. You might do better. And so you mentioned, it's better to start building that community slowly, but at least we can start building it. So do
Yes.
you think the strong woman narrative is helping or hurting our growth?
Oh my goodness, definitely hurting. Definitely hurting. Because again, that mindset that we have to be strong, we have to carry the weight, we have to do our part. We cannot show weakness, we cannot rest. It's definitely hurting our growth in every way possible, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Because, for example, if you are, and growth, physical growth means if you're in a workplace or maybe you own a business, entrepreneur, and you're looking to do so much more, but
Oh,
then physically you get ill, you get sick, you end up in the hospital, or you're in bed for a couple of days. Is that hurting your growth? Yes, because guess what? You don't get that business if you're an entrepreneur because you missed out on meetings or things of that nature. Or maybe you simply forgot to take a step because you're so busy wanting to keep it together, you're actually falling apart, sis.
right.
You're actually falling apart. So yes, is it hurting us? Absolutely, in every single area of our lives.
Mm. I'm sorry. I'm trying to look over here at the comments and stuff.
No worries, no worries.
Okay, we got one. Okay. Jesus Christ. Hold on a second.
So while
Okay.
you
It says Dot A. Wiggins said yes. I can show it. There we go. Oh no. I thought I could show it. It's not letting me show it. Okay, yes, Martha, you are good about asking, checking in, knowing when the I am okay is not true in your dig. Um,
thank you,
yes,
Dot.
exercising, good time management because impossible during burnout. We lack the brain capacity to realize what we even see.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Like when you're burnt out, when you have all this stuff going on, you can't it distracts you and it blurs whatever everything else that you got going on. Like yesterday, I had to take a half a day. Like I'm tired of my house looking a little unorganized. It's a mess. When I walk outside my room, my boys own the rest of my house, and I feel like I'm stepping into a whole nother world. And I'm like, that is chaotic for me, and it distracts me, even though I'm still pushing through and working, being that strong black woman, right? I said, no, I can't do this anymore. And today, everything felt so much better just by cleaning up my surroundings. So I
Yes.
say that because cleaning up your surroundings is not just a physical thing. Cleaning up your surroundings is cleaning up your surroundings mentally, what you're thinking about, physically, who
Mm-hmm.
you're around, and just making sure that your overall space is
Yeah.
peaceful for you because that's important.
Yes, absolutely.
So I
Absolutely.
know you probably touched on some of this too. I mean, you want to comment on that? I'm sorry.
How can women start asking for help without feeling like they're weak? Um, Sadly, there's no smooth way to ask for help.
Right,
And that's why so many of us have struggled with the ask because it's really not smooth.
right,
There's no smooth way to say it, except I can think of maybe, maybe you have, for example, Sandra, you just mentioned you had a whole house to clean. So if you had a neighbor that was close to you, hey, can you come over? I need to put some things together and I'd love your idea on how to reposition this room. And they can come and
right.
guess what they're going to start doing? They're going to start helping you pick up pieces and things of that nature. So yeah, we can kind of do it in that manner. Um, or we can say, you know what? Uh, I, I need some time off. But instead of going out for drinks, sis, right? Instead of going out for
Right,
a drink, let's just do brunch.
right, right.
Again, another thing that hides our what we're feeling inside, that unraveling inside, is the alcohol. So
Yeah,
if we really want help, or support, remove the word help, but support, let's say, hey, Sandra, you want to catch lunch today? And guess what? During lunch, we're going to talk about things that makes us happy, things we want to do, things
right,
our vision for the next, few days or few months even. So let's start focusing on that. We can ask for support, but let's put more into that conversation when the person is nearby.
right.
Does that make
And that makes
sense?
sense. That makes perfect sense. Let me. Okay, Erica said, I know I get burnt out sometimes. We all do. And everybody's burnout level is different. Some
Ooh,
people can handle more or what looks like more because maybe they don't have nothing, a lot of, stuff going on elsewhere in their lives. But when you're a parent, a lot of times you're going to have stuff coming from home because you got your kids. If you're married,
yes,
you have mess you're dealing with your significant other. If you work,
yeah,
which most of us do, because we got to live, you got stress at work. So just those things right there that are mandatory and priority for the average American, person, then you already got 4 areas right there that's stress that you can't really, what ethically or legally do something about, right?
yes, absolutely.
Right.
But Sandra, what
Yeah.
I'd also like to add to that, when I talk about building communities, we can start a small community. Let's start identifying, just like businesses identify board members, right? Let's start identifying who's going to be
Mhm.
on our board. So 3, 4, 5 women say, hey, let's make a pact. Let's let's put this group together and let's start really focusing on each other's wellness. There's a
Hold
little
on.
noise.
I'm
I think the
thinking.
cancer.
I just, yeah, I'm connected back to my headset. I hit the wrong button trying to
Okay.
plug my charger in.
No worries.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm right
Okay.
back.
1 second.
You can talk. I'm gonna mute till I come back in. That way they can't hear all my noise.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so ladies, and I don't know if there are any gentlemen in the room, in the virtual room, but ladies, let's form groups, just like we form groups for our businesses, like board of directors. Let's form a support group. And maybe 3 people, 3 to 5 people. Keep it small. And let's start giving and receiving, gifting and receiving with one another. And that way, from that circle, then maybe somebody else will start another circle someplace else. and so on and so forth. So that way we will start building more of these communities where we are exchanging, more like pouring into others, but we're being poured into as well. So let's start these small groups. I know
Right.
Sandra asked about what can we do. That's another thing that we can do that's not going to be too evasive, because we're expecting it, and we're expecting also to share what's inside. We're not going to hold on to it. That's a
Right.
promise. So we'll have these expectations, and one of the expectations are, sis, if you're not feeling well, we want to know about it. If you're not feeling like yourself, we want to know about it. If you start feeling overwhelmed, we want to know about it. So let's
Right.
start with little groups like that.
That'll be nice. And I know I feel like social media has helped with probably making people a little bit more comfortable with sharing how they feel. I know I'm in a lot of groups, and you can post anonymously, so nobody will know who
Yes.
you are that's posting. And I see so many stories, and I'm like, wow, and they can get people that's going to comment and give them advice
Yes.
without them having to know who they are.
Yes.
And that's just it's like an open window for them. So I love social media despite the negativity that comes behind it. Social media has a lot of and a lot of positive purposes when it's used appropriately.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, I don't say I suffer, but I deal with mental health, in my own home. And it's a lot that comes along with that because I have to make sure that I take care of my mental in order to make sure that I'm taking care of theirs. Um, and it forces you to look at yourself. Like I said, I see things from so many different perspectives just because of my daily experience with my own. So I just encourage people, if even if you feel like you're okay, just talk to somebody. You know, there's nothing wrong with having a therapist, a counselor, a mentor, a peer supporter, whatever you want to call it. It is nothing wrong with doing it. That needs to be your new normal. Stress is not our normal. It don't need to be our normal anymore. We need to seek help. We need to unite, and we need to talk about these things.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
If y'all
Yes.
don't have nobody y'all can talk to, y'all can talk to me. Y'all can talk to Mirtha. We can be your, what you call it? I don't want to say pillow because we ain't gonna be doing a lot of crying, but you can pour out to us in ear, like, and I mean that genuinely. I won't tell your business. I won't judge you. You'll learn more about me if you tell me about you.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
But seriously though, Martha, well, that was serious, but on a more serious note, if a woman is listening right now that's emotionally tired, but pushing through anyway, just pushing through, like we all feel like we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
what is the first thing that you want her to know?
One that first thing is you're not alone. You're not alone. And I say that because a lot of times when I've spoken to other women, they feel like they have to keep that facade. Trust me, I was one of those women. I was
Mm,
one of those women. And you want to keep that facade because, and it is a facade, it's a mask that we wear. But sis, if you're listening and you're going through something, I am going to ask you to remove that mask. Just lay it down. Just lay it
mm,
down. If you can't lay it down right away for a very long time, take 5 minutes a day. Close your door in the office, go in a room somewhere, in the bathroom, and just breathe, right? But breathe with intention. It's not just a no. Breathe with intention, which means that find your find your the floor. Some people, we're moving so fast and we're moving so much that it almost feels like we're floating. We're not touching it, and nothing's real. We're just whew, gone. But find
mm,
your floor and get centered. You're never going to be balanced. You can't give 50% of yourself to 10 different people. It doesn't work. But you can feel
Mhm.
centered in the moment. So step back. And my first thing always is, if most of you go into my social media, it's talking about breathing, intentional breathing. You got to step back and you got to breathe. Inhale and then
Right.
exhale. And if you're driving and it just don't feel right, maybe you're in an argument with someone on the cell phone, pull to the side and breathe with
Right.
intention. Take that moment to just kind of refocus and realign. That's a better word. Realign you with you. Because if you are not in alignment with whatever it is that's going on, everything else, remember we talked about the unraveling inside, everything
Yeah.
else is
Fall apart.
disjointed, it's falling, it's chaos. Chaos in the mind, chaos in the heart, chaos in the spirit, chaos everywhere. Your relationships are going to be a mess because you cannot find that ground.
Mhm.
Your physical, your body, as far as
Mhm.
sickness or illness, will be a mess because you got to get grounded.
Yep.
Your business will be all chaotic because you're not grounded. So first take a moment to get realigned. And how do you realign? You kind of like have to re, just kind of slow your pace down, slow your mind down.
Right.
You know, you got to take that moment. And I just want to share another something that was happening with me. I remember a few years ago, not even a couple of years, maybe 5 years ago, I got a phone call that, it started off with, Miss Dubois, are you so and so's mother? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, well, are you sitting down? And I was sitting down at the moment, but I stood up and I'm like, no, I'm not sitting down. You asked me if I'm sitting down. So now I'm already preparing
Right.
myself for the bad news. And what came out next is your son's been shot.
Mm.
And so the people around me, when I hung up the phone and they were like, you need to go. And I'm like, no, I'm not, I'm not going. Where am I going? My head right now is going like this.
Right.
Where am I going with my head? A mess. My spirit is
Mhm.
is unsettled. My emotions, my everything is all over the place. And you
Right.
want me to do what now? Jump in my car and go where? Then what happens? More stuff happens after that. Right? I can hit somebody, I can hurt myself. There's so much that can happen when you are not stabilized. You
Mm.
ever gone to the doctors and your blood pressure is up and they're like, we need to keep you here a moment until we can
It gets
stabilize your
stable.
pressure?
Mhm. Yep.
Sisters, that means you too. You got to get
Yes.
stabilized on your daily. So I gave you the example of this unraveling inside because they just gave me a news. But this is something that's just a news. Perhaps you lost $1 million contract. Would you feel a little unraveled? Yeah, yeah. Perhaps you just lost your job. They fired you, or you didn't get that promotion where you feel like, oh, you know what? I worked so hard for this. Are you starting to unravel on the inside? Absolutely. So
Right. Right.
step back, take a pause, and let's stabilize you emotionally. Let's stabilize you spiritually because now there's a disconnect. Because guess what? The one you trust now, you don't trust anymore because now you're thinking of, man, I should have, instead of saying, thank you, Father. Thank you, Lord. We're not connected anymore because I'm so over here. I'm so upset over here. I'm not connected spiritually anymore because I'm thinking about what's happening over here. So take a pause and get stabilized. We need to realign, get stabilized. People often say to me, because of my line of work as a life and wealth strategist, they say, well, I need to pray. No, you need to get stabilized. Because what's going to happen is when you show up, because prayer for me is a conversation. So if I'm angry and upset and disconnected, how do you think my conversation is going to be with my creator? It's not going to be pretty. And not only that, it's not going to say what I really want to say. I'm going to be speaking out of anger. I'm going to be speaking out of the disconnect. I'm going to be speaking out of the chaos that's happening in my world. That I'm not going to ask for the right things, for the right
Mm,
blessings, for the right people to show up in my world. I'm not going to ask about that because guess what? I'm not thinking about that. I'm so upset with this. I want revenge. I want blood.
right.
What am I going to say to the creator? So when you take a breather and get stabilized, now I can have a conversation with my creator and say, okay, you know what? This just happened. So what are we going to do? I need the doctor to do whatever that needs to be done. I need these machines to be working the way that they're supposed to be working. I need the next person that either walks through my door or the next person that I bump into to give me a message
Mm,
that I can take and run with. You see, the conversation is different because now I've stabilized myself.
right. Mm, mm, mm. So y'all, I think the word for the night is stabilize. Get stabilized. Because everything has to be in alignment. I mean, it does. And like you said, it starts from the head. If it ain't right, the rest of it ain't gonna be right. Oh my God. Did you have anything else that you wanted to touch on that we did not already talk about?
Let's see. We talked about the support group, which is extremely
Hmm.
important. The other thing I can say is this quote that I love a lot. It says is by Robin Sharma and it reads, awareness precedes change. Right. So
Mm,
just like the alcoholic anonymous, hey, my name is Mirtha. I am an alcoholic. I have to recognize that, hey, something's wrong with Mirtha. And so something's not right with Mirtha. And
mm,
not necessarily wrong. I said the wrong word. It's not wrong with Mirtha. Something's just not right. And I need to make it right. So when you feel that disconnect, when you feel that you are not aligned spiritually, financially, your finances are all over the place, you need to take a step back. How do
right.
I
Right.
connect the dots? We talked about, you know, I just want to reiterate that when we talk about empowerment, we're talking about that CEO, right? That boss that shows up, that leader, if you will. Those are the people that mostly gets hurt. And guess what? If you're at home and you are running a household with children, sweetheart, you're on that list. You may not have that title, but you're on that list.
Yes. So you're handling
Okay.
everything.
Listen, empowerment is not so much that title, that position. Entitlement, when I say it, when I think of it as a condition. It's not a position, it's not a title, but it's a condition. It's a condition of our minds, of our hearts, of our spirit. And if that condition becomes unstable, we can no longer ignore it.
Mm,
We can no longer ignore it. We have to fill in that space, that void, because we're depleted or we're depleting.
mm.
And we
Huh.
have to fill that void.
Yes.
So, again, when we think of words, let's start really examining and defining what that word means to self, to me, to us. And then sharing, get that group, that support group. We have to, I know people say normalize, but we have to start thinking uh, boundaries. We have to start thinking therapy. We have to start thinking, oh my gosh, I'm in a bad spot. Let me a bit bad space. Let me have the conversation with my sister. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be open.
Right.
Yes, it may not be okay with everybody. You don't want to tell 100 people how you're feeling or 1,000 people, but
Right.
a selected few, you definitely want to go deeper. It's okay to rest. It's okay to pause. It's okay to pause.
Right.
It's okay to seek other people's help or support. It's okay.
Right.
Ask a friend and share your friendship. Share, go into the room sharing, opening up and say, this is how I can support you. Let's kind of
Right.
make a pact, right? Make a pact, shake hands, high five on that. Let's be okay with saying, you know what, Sandra, I want to support you. This is what I'm good at. Where can you use me? And vice versa. And if you don't have money to
Right.
delegate and hire, if you don't have money, barter. Hey, Sandra, I can do X, Y, and Z, especially with those you don't know. They're just coming
Right.
into your world, but you know you need them. Sandra, I
Right.
don't have the money for you, but guess what? I have some time. I can do this and I can do that. Barter
Right.
until
Right.
you get to that point where, okay, you know what, I can pay you a little something. And
Right.
remember, payment is not always about money. It's about time, it's about effort, it's about your gifts.
Uh-oh.
Sometimes you got to pay your gifts forward, and then you
That's
start
right.
to receive the cash, the money, the bag for those youngins, right? The young ones, right? You got to start to receive the
Not
bag.
the youngins.
But
Yes.
but you start somewhere. Start somewhere. And we need to do more check-ins. Check in with one another.
Yeah.
Definitely. Listen, empowerment is not being the ability of carrying all this stuff. We need to start looking at
Mm.
empowerment as reducing some of the stuff that we are carrying, especially when you're carrying somebody else's stuff. Start removing some of that. I have a saying,
Y-
say no when every single time it
Right.
means saying yes to you. Some people say no is a full sentence, and it really isn't. Let me tell you why. Because just saying no will start you feeling a little bit guilty, and you'll less likely say no when you don't know what you're saying
Mm.
yes to. So here's the trick. When you say no to whatever is being
Mm.
asked of you, put a check mark in something that you need to do for
Hold on,
yourself, whether it's
y'all.
take,
It's
oh,
it's spinning right now. I think I'm going through another bad spot, but
okay.
y'all hang on. Well, I'm still on. I don't see her.
I'm here.
Bertha, I hope you're not talking and I'm talking over you, but I can't see you on the screen.
I am here, but
Now,
I
where
don't
you
know
you
if you
were
can
going?
hear me.
Okay, there we
Okay.
go.
So
I can hear you now.
perfect, perfect. So the trick that I'd like to share is when we talked about saying no. People say no is a full sentence, and Martha Dubois says no, it's not. And let me tell you why it's not. No is not a full sentence because when you say no, one, of course, you feel some type of way. You feel a little guilty of saying no. But here's when you make it a full sentence. When you start saying no to somebody else, but here you say yes to yourself. Oh, I apologize, but no, I'm not going to be able to do that because tonight I'm taking a bath. I am going to soak my body. That's a yes
I
for
know
me.
that's
Oh no, I can't do that today because guess what? I'm going to wash my hair. Or you know what? I can't do that in this moment because in this moment, I'm just being still.
I know
When
that's
you
right.
say yes to you, you can easily say no to somebody else. And that's when it becomes a full
Yes,
sentence. That's when it becomes a full sentence because a no is not for somebody else. You see, when we set boundaries, it's not for nobody else. It's for
it's
you.
true.
This
That's
is
right.
your cup. And
Mm-mm.
when you say no, you're saying, "Whew, my cup is full, baby. We can't do this."
That's right.
You're not saying no to
Mm-mm.
somebody else. The boundaries you're setting is not for anybody else. It's for you. And if you don't know why you're setting boundaries, if you don't know why you're saying no, then it leaves you open and even more vulnerable to you not really taking care of yourself, to
Right.
you
Right.
feeling some type of way, to you getting hurt, to you feeling ill, getting sick, running to the emergency room.
Mm-mm. Trying to show up so much. Now you can't show up for nothing,
You
right?
cannot show up at all.
Right.
Listen,
Mm-mm.
we don't have to shatter ourselves to prove our strength. We don't have to stay looking all polished so people won't see our pain. We deserve care. We deserve care.
Yeah. And we are worth it. That's what that's another thing I feel like we don't, some of us don't understand our worth. Just like we want to be there, we feel like they're worthy of us showing up for them. We are worthy of showing up for ourselves by
Absolutely.
saying no to everybody else and everything else that is not in alignment with what you are doing. And it
Absolutely.
and it is that simple. It is that simple.
Yes.
So Martha, like I always ask all my guests, it's your first time officially on. You was on before, like a pop up. Oh, and Martha is the first cash prize winner of the round table. Like my
I
first cash
was.
giveaway, she won.
Yes, I
Yes, I
was.
forgot about that almost. So with everything that you got going on, and how you pour into other people's lives and show up for you, what is your ultimate end game?
Wow, my ultimate end game is to be honest, it's really about the community that I roll in. I
Mm,
want every woman to be there, to show up and be in their fullness. I want every woman to understand their worth. That is my ultimate end game
mm,
because growing up, I didn't have that mentor, if you will, that example, besides my mom, who struggled because she wanted to be the strength of the family, and she was.
right,
She wanted to show up for everyone. But if we can all show up for one another, I don't have to wear that burden alone.
right. That's right. Wow. Mm. I hope y'all got all those nuggets, cause God knows it was a lot, but it was a lot of good stuff. Um, I want you to tell everybody. I know you have stuff going on. Tell them what you got going on and how they can connect with Mirtha Dubois.
I got something going on. I do, but connecting with me is simple. I am on Facebook, Mirtha Dubois. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn, Mirtha Dubois. Just type in Mirtha Dubois as you see it, and it's Mirtha, M-Y. I say Mirtha. Some people hear Martha. It's Myrthadubois. I also have a group called Women in R, and the A is for Aspire, W is for Wisdom, and E is for Elevate. Again, thinking about the community and passing on that generational wealth game, if you will, because it is a wealth game. And so, join me there in that group. And I have made a commitment to be live every single Wednesday in that group. And what else I do have so much going on. Uh, but if you follow me in the Facebook group, if you follow me on Facebook, you will know every step of the way. I will definitely be sharing what I have going on from either week to week or month to month.
Yes, and she's somebody that y'all. If y'all don't have a Mirtha Dubois in y'all life, y'all need to get y'all one. Okay, I'm trying to tell y'all. Everybody need a Mirtha Dubois in their life. I so appreciate you getting on with me this evening. And shout out to the viewers. I'm so sorry that I can't see to shout everybody out, but look, I appreciate y'all. Now I need for y'all to do one thing. If y'all have not hit that subscribe button, I think a couple people subscribe while I was on. If you have not hit that subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. And one thing that y'all can do to start this community, Like Martha Dubois says, you ain't gotta what you how you say it. How you gonna try to say it? You say it about start. You gotta start somewhere. Use what you got. You know.
Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can.
Yes. And so all of y'all right now can share this live. I won't say tag your friends because they might get offended and think that you think they got problems or something. But share the live for your audience because you never know who really may need to hear this, guys. Okay. So thank y'all for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. And I will be back. Oh, if you want to be a guest, got the email scrolling across the bottom. If you have topics that you want to hear, um, email me. If we're connected on social media, a DM is fine, but just connect with me. I'm open to hearing your ideas. And I'm always excited and open to having new faces over here with me. So y'all be blessed and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Martha. I love you. And I will see y'all next week, same time, same place, but a different face on that side. Good night.
Good night. Thank you, everyone.